In this video, I'm going to give you two different ways that you can fix the number one most common thing that I've been seeing as far as a lack of stability in archers is concerned. I've been coaching many different types of skill levels of archers as well as different disciplines of archery. Lots of those archers deal with one common thing in regards to a lack of stability, and I'm going to give you the fix here after the intro. Before I give you the two different ways that you can fix a lack of stability that I see amongst a lot of different archers that I've been working on lately, I just want to give a quick update as to some of the products and equipment that I've been selling through my website, Kaminski.com, like the precision tiller bolts and the Wave Pro vanes. So I put in an order just recently for two more colors of Wave Pro vanes. The two colors that I'm adding to the Wave Pro vanes are the fire orange vanes and the yellow vanes to the already existing bright green and white vanes. I did a poll through SurveyMonkey and lots of people answered that poll, and so I got a good amount of data there to see what colors are most requested. So I just went strictly by the actual graph and picked the top two most common colors because that's what I'm looking at adding is two more colors to the lineup. So when those are available, I will send an email blast on my website through that to let you guys know, and I'll be posting videos about it, of course, and make updates as I release videos too. And also with the precision tiller bolts, they have gone nuts, and the oversized 380 version are completely sold out. I've already placed a purchase order to get more of those made, as well as more boxes to be made, because we're completely out of those too. So that'll be coming towards the end of December is when that will be fulfilled, the back order. And we are actively working on win-and-win style limb bolts as well, so do keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming very shortly thereafter. So anyway, just lots of thanks to everybody out there who's been excited about these products. And if you have gotten those and like them, or even have some constructive criticism and feedback, let me know. Comment below, send me an email, leave a review on my website. Some of you get requests for reviews, but also if you can, go manually back into my website, go onto the product page and leave a review for that product. It really genuinely helps me out because people are trying to buy stuff sight unseen on the internet, and reviews really help. So I can't thank you enough if you've already left a review, and if you haven't yet, please do. Okay, so with all that being said, I want to give you the number one common problem that I'm seeing in regards to archers. Now, this happens at not just the grassroots level, not just the basic, traditional, instinctive, flinging arrows, having fun in the backyard level, even at a very high level where people are wanting to really up their game and potentially make national teams. There's a lot of issues in regards to stability in the system itself, meaning they're seeing a little bit of a wavering pattern in their sight picture. They're just not very steady. They feel very uneasy on their feet, potentially not very good as far as shooting in the wind. And a lot of that has to do with just no engagement in the lower extremities. So what I mean is when somebody's at full draw, I can see as they're going through their shot process, as they go to draw the bow back, they have a lot of control from here up. Lots of people are very good at controlling their body in regards to how they move and how they pull back, the positions they get to at full draw, and ultimately, their bow stability, their drawing stability, and their ability to maintain control of the bow is quite high, but the remainder of the system of the actual body has no stability engagement at all. To further expand upon the stability and why you would want the stability itself is imagine this. If I'm standing at full draw, and if I were to have a gust of wind blow on me and I had nothing happening from here down, as I'm aiming, I can have two pieces here where my upper and lower half do not communicate, where if the wind blows, I'll blow like this and then I have to catch myself, or the opposite direction, and it's just relatively loose. There's no stability. Now if I engage everything and tie it all together as one piece and a big gust of wind comes, now I'm way more stable and I can resist movement using my feet to help hold my system together, as opposed to having no engagement and being all over the place. Hip stability is critical to overall stability itself in regards to standing still. If you have no hip engagement, no muscle recruitment to actually stabilize anything in the hip girdle, you really have no stability at all, and therefore you have no platform, no solid platform to shoot from in archery. So I'm going to give you two different ways on how to actually engage the lower extremities, engage your core from the ribs down, get your legs engaged, and actually grip the ground with your feet. There's two different ways And they're basically the same way, they're just two different ways to explain it. So I'm gonna give you the easiest one that I found is very common. If you've been watching this channel at all, you'll understand and recognize the first one already, but many people out there still don't do it correctly. So I'm gonna re-explain the first way and then give you another way that I was actually originally taught, and maybe that will work better for you. So the first way that I always explain to do it is to actually do something that my wife refers to as paper towel tearing, to tear your paper towels. So if you were to imagine standing on paper towels, 1 foot on each square with the perforated line in the middle, and what you want to do is you want to feel your feet sink into those paper towels, and first you want to do what is referred to as a hip tuck. So you want to tuck the hips underneath of you as you feel your feet sink into that ground, 1 foot on each square, and then along with the hip tuck, you want to then tear the paper towels apart. It's just a small amount of effort that is required, and you want to basically take your feet and try to pull them straight apart. Flat feet on the ground, straight apart, not with your toes, not with your heels, not with the insides or the outsides of your foot, feet flat on the ground, straight apart. And it's like a 2 out of 10 intensity-wise as far as how hard you actually do it. Very quickly to go over intensity, 0 is completely relaxed. 10 is I'm squeezing as hard as I can, no blood flow. That's why you don't want to go too high. You lose feeling and the ability to actually do it. But I can close my hand with a 2, right? So basically just do the minimal effort required to get the maximum benefit. Because my hand closed, that's all I need to do is give it a 2 out of 10 to make it happen. And that's the same type of thing you want to do in your lower extremities. So when you actually should tear your paper towels is when you are here. Right now, I'm on the line. I've got my arrow hooked. I've already started to grip the bow, grip the string, and I'm ready to shoot. Right as I'm taking my last breath before I lift my bow and shoot my shot, I will tuck my hips, tear my paper towels, keep tearing my paper towels, keep tearing my paper towels, keep tearing my paper towels until the arrow hits the target, and then I relax. All right, so it's essentially tuck, tear, lift, keep the tear all the way until I finish my follow through, then I can relax. So I'm not standing on the line, locking my legs and actually holding the stability all the time. It's only when I'm at full draw. But it doesn't end the moment I release the arrow. It ends when the arrow hits the target, because if I stop doing something the moment on release, there's a disturbance and things just don't go well. So you've heard me explain this before, and that is the one way to do it that is quite easy to explain to most people who have like a lack of body awareness or a lack of body control. So people that are a lot more familiar with their systems and a lot more comfortable with actually looking at individual body parts, the second way may be better for you. So the second way is actually how I was explained to do it by my coach, Keesick Lee, originally probably back in the 2015, 2014, late 2014, maybe 2015 time frame. And the reason that he saw this and realized that this was a benefit was the Korean women's team, for like the first time basically ever, shot in anything other than pants. They were shooting in like tennis skirts type thing. So you could actually see their kneecaps, you could see their knees and their lower legs. And what he discovered upon watching them was what they did was actually lock and literally lock their knees out. And essentially, they would fire their quads, lifting the kneecap, and then externally rotate the legs while keeping their feet planted on the ground. And that gave them an extreme amount of hip stability. And again, remember, the reason you want to have hip stability to begin with is to resist this kind of imbalanced, unstable, movable type platform. If you have the hips locked as the wind is blowing, you're now one piece as opposed to no connection at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this bow down, and I'll pull the bottom of my shorts up a little bit so you'll be able to see my kneecaps, hopefully. And what you want to do is, standing in your shooting position here, you're actually going to flex the quads and lift the kneecap up relative to the knee itself. And you do that by just flexing the kneecap, right? So that's the first step after a hip tuck. So in the shooting position with the hips tucked forward, you lift the kneecap by flexing the quads, and then take the legs themselves and try to externally rotate them slightly. And that will actually engage the hip girdle and fire everything all at once, and it keeps everything super tight and will totally engage and totally lock your upper and lower half together. So when I'm going to shoot, I do it in the same exact way. I put my arrow in the bow. I have my hook and my grip here, hook and grip, tuck the hips, big breath, pull the knee up, externally rotate, and keep it all the way until follow through and finish, and then I relax and put the next arrow in my bow. It's critical that you relax after you let go, not at the moment of release, but when the arrow hits the target. I've already explained why. And what you want to do though is to relax after the shot, because you can't possibly stand with your knees locked for the length of time that we need to in order to shoot 3 or 6 arrows, whether it's indoor or outdoor tournament season. And the reason is you'll pass out if you lock your legs for that long. So you don't want to do that because it stops blood flow back up from your legs, and obviously you don't want to be passing out when you have a weapon in your hand and sharp pointy objects attached to your hips. So relax between your arrows, put the next arrow in the bow, tuck the hips, lock the knees, externally rotate the legs, keep that all the way until the arrow hits the target, and then relax, put the next arrow in and do it again. So those are the 2 different ways that I can explain best to you how to engage your lower extremities, to tie your lower half and your upper half together, to give you a more solid platform to shoot from as far as shooting archery is concerned. And hopefully you'll be way more stable in the wind, because tying that upper and lower half together is a massive advantage. And I definitely think it'll make a difference in your shooting. Now, a couple of different ways on how you can diagnose on whether or not you're doing it correctly is to pay attention to your quiver. If you notice, as I go to lift and go through the shot, when I do it correctly, pay attention to the arrows. From now, and I'll pretend to release, to now. Pretty stable. They didn't move a whole lot. If I don't engage my lower extremities and I keep everything loose as I go to lift the bow, and then when I go to release, usually that happens. Not just on release does it wiggle like that, but also a lot of people, as they go to lift their bow and they go to start to draw back, you'll see the quiver change relative to where it is here. And that's a sign of losing any sort of engagement that has been built up, or just a highlighting of the lack of engagement in the lower extremities, because as you go to lift the bow and you go to pull, the hips will turn and rotate as you go to pull the bow back, and that's where you'll see the arrows or the quiver starting to move. That's usually a dead giveaway to see if there's any sort of engagement in the lower extremities at all. And oftentimes, if somebody knows what they're supposed to be doing, just a simple reminder to make sure that they maintain that tension, maintain the actual stability until the arrow hits the target after they release. It's very simple to relax everything the moment of release, because there's so much going on in archery and there's a lot to think about. But if you can do your job correctly by tucking the hips, tearing the paper towels, externally rotating your legs, whatever you want to do, and maintain that tension, a 2 out of 10 intensity until the arrow hits the target. And hopefully, even if you're not shooting in the wind, you'll be way more stable overall, and therefore, hopefully, you'll shoot higher scores.